This balcony produced over 40 pounds of food last summer. No garden bed, no ground, just pots, buckets, and a couple of grow bags. I waited. I actually waited because I didn't believe it myself at first. And honestly, the thing that surprised me most wasn't the amount. It was which plants did it. Because some of the biggest producers were things I almost didn't bother planting in containers at all. I nearly skipped 2 of them completely, figured they'd just sulk in a pot and do nothing. I was wrong about both. Because some vegetables in containers are basically a waste of time. They take up space, need attention, and produce almost nothing you'd notice. And some of them produce so aggressively that a single pot genuinely feeds you for months without much effort at all. That gap between the two is bigger than most people think. We're talking a literal handful of vegetables from one plant versus a grocery bag full from another, sitting in the exact same size pot. The difference between those two groups isn't luck, and it's not skill. It's just knowing which ones belong in a container and which ones don't. That's what this list is. 15 that actually belong there, ranked by how much they produce. I'm ranking every one of them by actual output, not by how easy they are to grow or how good they look on camera, because those two things don't always line up the way you'd think. 15 plants. I'm going from solid, reliable performers all the way up to the one that genuinely blew my mind when I found out about it. Number 1 gives you 2 completely different edible harvests from the exact same container at the same time. Quick thing before we get into it. If you're into this kind of stuff, container gardening, small space growing, you can subscribe. It just helps the channel out. Okay, number 15.
Bush beans. This was the plant I almost gave up on halfway through summer. They looked done. Leaves kind of yellow at the edges, pods slowing right down. Then September hit, and they just started again. New flowers, new pods, like nothing happened. Turns out cooler nights actually help beans set pods better than the peak of summer heat does. Nobody told me that going in. I almost pulled the whole plant out in early August to make room for something else. Glad I didn't. Number 14, lettuce. In September is actually better than lettuce in July. Less bitter, less bolting. I didn't expect that. I just kept cutting the outer leaves instead of pulling the whole plant, and it kept growing back, like it didn't even notice I took anything. There's this one shallow container by the door I've been cutting from for almost 6 weeks straight now. Same plants, and it still looks full every single time. Number 13, spinach. It hates summer heat. It just gives up, gets leggy, bolts, tastes off. But planted in a container in late July, and by September it's thick, dark green, almost aggressive about growing. This one's easy to underestimate because it looks so plain sitting there next to everything else. Don't let it fool you. By day 10, the leaves were noticeably darker, almost too green, like it had switched into a different gear once the heat backed off. Number 12, Swiss chard. It doesn't care about frost warnings. It doesn't care about much, honestly. Mine's still going after 2 light frosts already. The stems turned this deep red-pink color I wasn't expecting. Looked almost decorative, not like food. I actually had a neighbor ask if it was ornamental. Nope. Cut it, sautéed it, tasted fine. Quick side note, because I get asked this a lot. None of this works without decent soil. I learned that the expensive way. First year, I used cheap topsoil straight from a bag, and everything just sat there. Once I switched to a potting mix with actual compost worked in and started feeding every couple of weeks instead of once a month, that's when containers started acting like they should. Small change, big difference. Real quick, have you ever grown something in fall and been surprised it actually worked? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what held up for you. Number 11, bush cucumbers. Cucumbers in a container sounded ridiculous to me at first. Vines everywhere, right? But the bush varieties stay compact, and mine kept setting fruit well into September once I started hand-pollinating in the early morning. One tiny trick: tap the flowers around 7 a.m. when the pollen's actually active, and suddenly you've got twice the cucumbers. I felt a little silly the first time I did it, standing there with a paintbrush at sunrise, hoping none of the neighbors were watching. Worked, though. Number 10, zucchini. Everyone jokes about having too much of it in summer, but by September, mine had actually slowed down, Then a second wave hit. I think it was the cooler nights again. Went from barely anything to more than I could give away in about 10 days. I ended up leaving a box of them on the front step with a "please take some" sign, like it's some kind of running joke every single year. Neighbors know to check the step by now.
Number 9, peppers. They're slow starters, that's the annoying part. All summer you get maybe 1 or 2 and you start wondering if you did something wrong. But September is when they finally catch up. Mine went from a few green ones to a container full of red and orange peppers almost overnight, like they've been saving it all up on purpose. One thing nobody warns you about with containers: critters find them fast, especially in September when everything else in the neighborhood is drying up. I lost half a pepper harvest one year to squirrels before I figured out a simple trick: a loose layer of chicken wire right over the soil surface. Doesn't stop the plant from growing through it, but it stops anything from digging. Took me 2 ruined harvests to actually learn that lesson. Number 8, eggplant. It took forever to convince me it was doing anything. For weeks, it just sat there. 1 flower, no fruit, and I almost wrote it off completely. Then September came, and it was suddenly heavy, like actually heavy, with these deep purple fruits hanging low enough to touch the container rim. Most guides don't even mention it feeding it more in late summer, but that's honestly what turned mine around. A little extra fertilizer around the start of August, and it basically flipped a switch. Number 7, cherry tomatoes. These basically never stopped, not once, even through the heat. Even now in September, still pumping out clusters faster than I can pick them. If I had to pick one plant that never let me down all season, it's this one. There were whole weeks in July where I forgot to check it for 4 or 5 days, came back, and it had just kept going without me. Real quick, because this one actually matters more than people think: pot size. I used to grab whatever container looked big enough and call it good. Big mistake with some of these. Tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, anything with a big root system needs at least a 5-gallon container, ideally closer to 10, or the whole plant just stalls out by midsummer, no matter how well you feed it. The small stuff like lettuce and radishes honestly doesn't care much. Match the pot to the plant and half your problems disappear before they start. Number 6, potatoes. Okay, this one's the visual payoff. I grew these in a grow bag, just fabric, dirt, and hope, honestly. When it came time to harvest, I tipped the whole bag over onto a tarp and just potatoes. Way more than I expected from one bag. Dozens of them, different sizes, still warm from the soil. It's one of those things you have to see to actually believe. I've shown that clip to 3 different people now, and every single one of them made the exact same surprised sound. Number 5, pole beans. On a trellis and a container turned into this wall of green by September. Way taller than I planned for, honestly. I underestimated how much they need to climb, and now they're at the top of a 6-foot trellis, still adding more. I actually had to add a second stake halfway through July just to keep it from tipping over in the wind. Should have built it sturdier from the start, honestly. Number 4, carrots. They need patience. That's the honest truth. Nothing seems to happen for weeks, just a little feathery green fluff up top, no sign of anything underneath. Then, in September, I pulled one just to check, and the color under the soil was way more orange than I expected. Almost surprised me. Deep, bright orange, not that pale, washed-out color you get from the store. Actually, funny story on the carrots, my first attempt at these was a disaster. I used a container that was way too shallow, maybe 8 inches deep, because that's what I had lying around. Every single carrot came out stubby and forked, like little orange claws. Learn the hard way that root vegetables need real depth, at least 12 inches, more if you can manage it. Swapped containers the next season, and suddenly I had actual normal-looking carrots. Number 3, full-size tomatoes. These are the ones I almost gave up staking properly, and I regretted it by August. Had a whole branch snap off under the weight, lost a good chunk of fruit right there. But once I finally tied them up right, September turned into this steady stream of big red tomatoes I genuinely wasn't ready for. Sliced one straight off the vine, still warm from the sun. That's a different food entirely from what you get at the store. Number 2 might surprise you. I almost put radishes way earlier on this list, honestly, because people write them off as too small to matter. But that's exactly why they're this high.
They finish in about 3 weeks, so while everything else is still thinking about it, you've already pulled 2, sometimes 3 rounds. I planted a fresh batch in late August just to see, and by mid-September I had a full bowl again. Fast, cheap, basically no effort, and it adds up more than people expect.
So that's 14 plants, all solid, all worth growing. But none of them are the reason I started this video. Because the plant that actually surprised me the most this September, I almost didn't even plant it. I remember standing at the nursery holding the slip, genuinely debating whether it was worth a container spot at all. Number 1, sweet potatoes. I threw a slip in a grow bag back in spring, mostly as an experiment. The vine just took over, spilled out over the edge, covered half the patio table at one point. I honestly thought I was wasting a container on a plant that wasn't going to give me much. Just leaves, leaves, more leaves for months. My partner actually asked at one point if it was even a food plant or if I'd just planted decoration by accident. Here's the part most people miss. Those leaves, completely edible. I almost trimmed them off and threw them away before I found that out. Genuinely had a handful in the compost bucket already. Sautéed them like greens instead. Tasted better than I expected, honestly. Kind of similar to spinach, maybe a little earthier. Whole first half of the season, I'd been growing food and tossing half of it without knowing. Then September came and it was time for the actual harvest. I tipped the grow bag over, same as the potatoes, and underneath all that vine was this pile of deep orange sweet potatoes I genuinely was not prepared for. Some the size of my fist. 2 harvests, 1 plant. Most people only ever take the one, and honestly, until this year, so did I. So that table from the start of this video, that wasn't luck. It was just knowing which plants actually keep giving in September instead of quitting in August. 15 plants, 1 system. Way more food than I expected out of a patio that most people would look at and assume couldn't grow much of anything. If you take one thing from this whole list, let it be that. The container was never the problem. It was always just about picking the right plant for the space you actually have. If you want to see exactly how I set up the watering system that kept all 15 of these plants alive through the dry stretch in August, that's the next video. And honestly, it's the reason half of this even worked. None of this happens without water showing up on time every time, without me standing out here with a hose every evening. It's a simple setup, cheaper than you'd think, and it's genuinely the piece that made all 15 of these plants possible at once. I'll see you in that one.